got something a little different for you today. Instead of RC cars and arm wrestling and projects in the garage, we're doing a little art project today. This is going to be a Bob Ross style oil painting, wet on wet. This is going to be very simple, very easy. Anyone who's a beginner, even if you've never painted before in your life, you can do this painting. This is like the easiest painting. And obviously I've got the white canvas there, but boom, that's what our finished product's going to look like. As you can notice, there's really not that many layers. You kind of have the sky, some colors mixed together, and then you've got some trees in the front. Really, really simple, but comes out pretty decent, and you don't really need that much skill to pull this off. So I'm going to show you how we get that started. Here's what I've got for brushes. For this simple project, I've got a 2-inch brush that I'm going to use to paint the liquid white as well as to do some of the blending. I've got a 1-inch brush that's going to help put in my color for the skies. I've got a fan brush. What size is this fan brush? This is a number 6 fan brush. This is what I'm using to make the trees. And I have a knife. You don't really need the knife, but you can use it. For paint, you need the liquid white. I'm using scarlet for my red, violet for my purple. This is cerulean blue. And then I've got some black to mix up a dark color to make my trees with. Very first thing you're going to do, you got your canvas. I've got a 9x12. Since this isn't a very detailed painting, I do recommend using a smaller canvas like this. If you use a big one, it's going to look like it's missing something. If you do want to do a bigger painting, you're going to want to have more layers in your painting. So for example, on this bigger canvas, I had room to have the sky. I've got these trees in the distance. Then there's a little strip of land. Then you've got these other trees coming closer to you, reflections in the water, another set of trees over here. But if I was to try to shrink this down to that size, it would be very difficult for me to keep all my layers together without just making a big mess. Especially as an amateur, I've only done like 5 or 6 paintings in my life. So to get started, we have our blank canvas, and what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to take a liquid white. I've got the Bob Ross liquid white oil paint, and we're going to put a very thin coat on the entire canvas. Using a 2-inch brush, making my X strokes, and just putting a really thin layer of the liquid white on the canvas. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's going to make the canvas slick. For the Bob Ross style wet on wet technique, you do need to have a slick canvas so you can slide your paint around. And because we have kind of a light sky, we're going to be putting darker colors in. So this white in the background, when we blend our color, will lighten up our sky. So there we are. I'm going to go across a few times, take off some of the excess paint. And now we've got a nice slick white canvas. For the next part, I'm going to need my red paint, my purple paint, and my blue paint. I used scarlet, violet, and cerulean blue. Very first, I'm going to start with my red. Just put a little bit into the bristles here. And just a little bit of red paint on my 1-inch brush. I'm going to start in this corner. I'm going to make little X's where I want to put in some color. Don't put too much color because you're going to blend it. You want to keep your sky kind of light. So I'm going to come here. Put some there. 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 Some there. Maybe a little more up there. So as you'll notice, it's darkest in the corner and then it's a little lighter here. That's because we want it to have kind of a blend of colors. When I put my next color in, I'm going to put in purple. It's going to be kind of darkest in the middle, and then it's going to leak out to either side. I've got odorless paint thinner. I'm going to clean your brush because we're switching colors here. Do the old Bob Ross. Beat the brush off. And now we're going to go into a little bit of our violet. And now I'm going to leave a little bit of space between my red and my purple. I'm going to kind of start making X's through here. And then as it lightens up, I'll work my way on either side of it. Maybe I'll put a little bit right here. So that's where I'm going to kind of lay in my purple, maybe just a little bit right there, a little bit right like that. Once again, washing the brush off because we're going to switch colors. It's probably not that important because we are going to blend these together, but we don't want to start blending and mixing up all kinds of different colors too early on the project. So you can wipe it off with a paper towel if you want. You could beat it off on your easel. And then last up, now we've got our blue color. This is the cerulean blue. And I think I'm going to start right in the corner here, just like with the red. Darkest in the corner, maybe add a little bit more paint. It's going to be darkest in the corner. And then it's going to be a little bit lighter as you work away from the corner, right? And I might even put, look, right in that little purple space, just a little dot of it. So I've got a blend of colors here. Now, once again, washing the brush. Now, we've got all our color here. We're going to start to blend it all together because right now it just looks like some splashes of color. I'm going to start in the middle and work my way out. So I'm going to start at the purple where it's like darkest right here. And I'm going to make those same X strokes, except now I'm going to go across the entire canvas, and you will see how the liquid white that we put underneath helps blend all this together. So check this out. Right? Now, I don't want to get too much purple mixed in with my other colors. I let it kind of come over the edges here. I'm going to clean my brush off. Nice, clean, dry brush. Now I'm going to start in this corner. I'm going to work my way in towards the purple. Not bad. And you don't have to fully clean the brush so much. If you kind of wipe it off on something, it's usually pretty good. And then now I start in the other corner where the red is, and the same thing. I'm blending all these red colors together. And I'm working my way towards the purple where it'll start to mix with the purple and help it kind of fade together. And I dry my brush again a little. And you can see the colors are blending together a lot more now. I've got my 2-inch brush that we used to paint the liquid white. I dried it off, cleaned it off a little bit. And now I'm going to blend this all together. These strokes, instead of little X's, are going to go all the way across the entire painting. Boom. A little bit more across the top. So that's going to give us kind of our general colors of our sky. If you want to adjust it a little bit, you can. So let's say I wanted to bring a little bit more purple up this way. I could dry my brush off, and I could kind of make some X's to bring a little bit of the purple up into the blue a little bit there. And then I can just stroke it out again to blend it. And if I wanted to even, I could just put like a couple more dots, but I like this. I think this looks pretty good. So we've got our background kind of put in there. Now this is the most difficult part of the project. It's really easy to fuck this up. But what you're gonna do is we're gonna try to get some stars in there. And the way we're gonna do that is with the liquid white. The way I've seen everyone else do this is with a fan brush, so that's what I'm doing. However, it's possible that the 1-inch or 2-inch brush might actually work better. I'm not 100% sure. You kind of put your hand here and you can kind of hit your hand and let it splash at the painting. All right, so put my hand there, did a couple splats, puts a couple white dots in the background, not a whole hell of a lot. I might do just a little bit more. Don't overload your brush when you do this. It's very easy to have too much paint, go like this, and then all of a sudden you've got a huge splat all across your whole thing, and then you're blending it out and redoing your sky. You don't want to do that. So do this a little, be patient, do it a little bit at a time. I think that's enough right there. Maybe one more little splat over there. Boom. All right, as you can see, we've got some speckles that kind of represent a little bit like stars in the background. And now we've got to do the difficult part. I've got a nice dark paint color here. I mixed the purple, blue, and black together. And now I'm going to put in my foreground, my trees. You got your fan brush. Make sure when you load your fan brush, you're coming across the bristles like this every time to load up a good amount of paint. Just watch any Bob Ross video. You'll see how he loads his brush. And we're going to start. Make sure you don't go like this because you'll squish the bottom bristles up and your line won't stay skinny. Make sure you come in with the bristles like this and pull down to make your tree trunks. You're not going to go like this. You're going to come in and use this top part of your brush. So here I am. I'm going to put my first tree right there. That's where I'm going to put my first tree using the corner of the brush. I push in. And I'm making a zigzag pattern. Right down to the bottom. If you have some areas where you smudged it a little and you need to touch it up, feel free to go back in. I'm not always the best at making the trees as nice as Bob, but we all just do the best we can. So that's going to be my first tree right there. I'm going to thicken up the middle of it a little bit here and there. That's going to be tree number 1. Maybe we'll do tree number 2. We'll go right here. Just a little smaller. Boom. Ooh, got a little too thick there. A little too much pressure. That's okay. Look at that. Make the top of it skinny again. Now I'm thinking we go with like a nice big old tree right here that uses up maybe like halfway up. You know, something that sticks. These are all in the red. I want something that sticks up into the purple here. Go like that. Maybe even a little taller. Like that. That's going to be I think our next tree here. So I've got 3 trees. How many did I do in my other painting? I did 4. I think 4 is probably the good amount. Probably put my last one like right here maybe. Let it come off the painting a bit. So I got a little, this last tree looks a little fucked up, but that's okay. Not every painting is perfect. And when you look at them hanging on the wall from a distance, they end up looking a lot better than when you're looking at them up close. So if you want to end it there, feel free to end it there. That is how the original painting was done. However, I think we could take it a step further. So I am introducing a paint that I didn't mention in the beginning. Before I said all we needed for white was a liquid white, but this is a regular oil color white or oil paint white, whatever. So we're going to take a little bit of the regular white. I'm going to put it right on top of where I had my liquid white, so that way it thins it out a bit, because a thinner paint is easier to highlight with. We put our trees in. Now we've got white paint in our fan brush, and now we're going to highlight our trees and turn this into a winter scene. I'm going to use just the corner of my brush, and I'm aiming for the tops of this, because the snow would sit on top of the branches, right? And the snow would kind of come like that and maybe be angled down as gravity pulls these things down, right? Boom. There's some snow. There's a little snow on that one. Some snow there. A little bit of snow on that one. A little bit of snow there. I'm picking up some of the color of the trees, so I'm going to clean that off my brush. Add some more white to my brush. And then I'm even going to tap in little highlights of snow on the ground underneath. Do some highlights on this tree. And then I tap in some white at the base here where the land is to try to make it look like land. You don't want to just paint like this, right? You want to try to tap in some shapes, some little topography and so on. You know, the land's not going to be perfectly flat and it's not going to be perfectly smooth. It's darker over here. My light's coming from this side. So now I've just added some more white, and I'm just going to try to get all the right sides of the trees to look a little bit brighter than the left side. So as you can see, it's not that difficult. You're kind of working with some basic shapes, some basic highlights, and some basic colors. You tell me which one you think came out better. The dark trees or the trees with a little bit of snow on them? I'm not sure. I do think I did a little bit better job maybe with the colors on this sky. This one, the dots are a little smaller. That's maybe nicer. Anyway, there you go. It's a nice, simple oil painting. It's only got a couple layers, not that many colors, not that many brushes, really nothing that technical. So follow along, give it a try at home, and look forward to seeing what you guys think about it in the comments.